Hi, everybody. It's me, Jessica Lahore.
Hey everybody, it's me, Kelela C.
And we are your Denver Divas, giving you another fabulous review of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 13, Episode 7. But before we get into the episode, we want you to continue to subscribe and follow, comment, hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any more content that's coming your way. And with that, let's get into this episode, Kelela. There's a lot of, I know how you're feeling.
Emotions, girl.
A lot of emotions, but let's get into it. We'll be right back. All right, so Kelela, when we get into it, at this point, Lala Ree has left the building. Unfortunately, I wish that she stayed, but it happened. It's over. I'm past it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I don't feel like it was time, but in the grand scheme of television, it was probably time. And there's always All-Stars.
I agree with you. Once you said that, I can totally see her being an All-Stars easy. They are tasked. There's no mini challenge for this week, and all of them are talking about like Olivia's win.
I'm a professional, I swear.
They talk about last week's challenge, how they with Olivia's win, and how the girls are feeling about being safe or in the bottom. And I love that Utica is now finally, it just took her a couple of episodes to like stick up for herself.
She's like, oh, you want to see mean?
I'll show you mean, but then even still felt bad even when she was being mean. So it's like
yeah, and maybe she shouldn't have.
We need a little bit more nerve. She is so sweet in person too. They have to do a rusical, and they assign their own roles. They get an actual choreographer. So this is going to be a little bit different. It's very, it's like a pinpoint moment because you've had like the disco challenge to practice it, and now you're really being tested on it.
Right, which is kind of like I want to talk about that a little bit. I feel like we talked about this in the beginning, that they're really kind of setting them up to see who is the best of the best from the jump. Like the first few episodes, they're like, we're going to do all the stuff y'all saw in the later episodes to make sure that we have the best of the best. And then now they're giving them chances to like work on even harder challenges, right? Like the disco challenge was hard, but it was also a prelim, I feel like, to the rusical. Because I honestly thought we were not going to get a rusical because of the disco thing.
That's what I thought too. Like I was like, oh, there's a second one, but technically, I guess they're separate.
Right. It was a disco documentary or whatever I don't know what they called it, but it was a documentary, which maybe now we'll see that a lot, like different genres of music, a documentary about those, and then a rusical as well.
They assign their own roles. Everyone is pretty set in their roles, but Denali and Rose. Denali seems to get the short end of the stick with this, but we find out later that was not a problem.
Yeah, but how sickening was the audition moment? I mean, given it was Elliot with 2 T's, I won't say what we call her now, but look on Twitter. But how sickening was that they did auditions for it? I'm like, oh, honey, that if I was in a dressing room and people did that, I would gag.
Yeah, but if you did that and you went second to Rose, how would you feel about that? Like,
I mean, for me, I don't sing and drag, but I sing. I grew up singing, so I wouldn't feel intimidated at all. But honestly, it looked like Denali wasn't intimidated, so.
They each get their roles. They go through rehearsals, and you can kind of see who's slipping up and not doing that well. People that stuck out was like Simone did not do very well.
Yeah.
Utica did not do very well in that. Candy did not do very well in that. And so usually it can go like one of two ways. Either it's just like, oh, we're making them seem like they suck, but actually they're going to do really good, or they're terrible and they're going to be terrible.
Right, which is normally what I feel like they've done with Simone in some challenges, like made her look like she wasn't going to do good. They did this to Gigi as well a lot in season 12. But this one, I was like, oh, girl. Like, as soon as rehearsal started, I was like,
I love you.
I have talked to you. I have watched enough spoiler that I don't need the internet to lie to me today. And they were lying to me.
They were lying to you. Spoilers were all over the place with how this was going to turn out, and people were still gagged. When they get through all of their rehearsals, we kind of see who's doing really well, who's not doing so good, and they perform. So let's talk about like the overall challenge, the social media rusical. Everyone gets a different social media platform, or there's content creators of it. What did you think of the first person that what did you think of Tina Burner? Let's go down the line.
So for me, I actually thought, and this is kind of crazy because I'm a little bit over Tina Burner, but I thought this fit Tina Burner. Like this was camp. It was attack, like Liza Minnelli, kind of like, okay, we've seen it kind of a moment, but it worked for Tina Burner, I thought.
I thought that Tina Burner was going to be at least in the top. And it was frustrating listening to her critiques because I don't think she deserved them. I don't think
I was so confused by her critiques.
Same. And you could see it like hurt her, but she did a really fucking good job. So I thought Tina looked great and sold it.
Yeah, I think this was the first time I was like, okay, Miss Tina, you got this.
The next person that let's talk about is Olivia. So Olivia had the Facebook, what's his name? Creator.
They called him something different, but it was based off Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg. So I get like where she was going. I feel like she didn't. I didn't want her hair as draggy. I guess if she was gonna do like the shirt and pants in the thing, I wanted like the nerdy haircut as well.
Yeah, I feel like she could have worn what she wore for that the business lady bitch.
I thought her verse was really great. I like her vocals every time that she's had a chance to sing on the show so far.
She has a great voice.
I thought she did really good, but I lost it from the neck up. The hair didn't make sense to me. Simone is next, and I said I really liked I didn't like it. I didn't like that she wore glasses the whole time. I didn't like that I felt like she was uncomfortable. I didn't like her choice.
You said the part that like sold it for me, how I knew she was in trouble or in danger, was the glasses. Like, why did she not take off her glasses? At first I thought, oh my God, is this a Valentina moment? She didn't finish her makeup. It would be crazy because Simone can be beautiful in no time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what is going on here? Why is she wearing that? But it makes sense because you could tell she was uncomfortable. So there were just missing pieces. And here's the thing. Everybody messes up. Everybody makes mistakes in drag. We all have a moment. That today was just not Simone's day. Well, Utica is kind of being set up to be a little worse. But then, cut to.
Yep, and she did pretty good. I mean, enough to get her through the challenge. And so I liked her look. I liked her verse and her performance.
Absolutely.
Candy, it was really uncomfortable for me to watch Candy. Not only like did the look uncomfortable, the wig was a mess. I could not even pay attention to her verse or her lip syncing because it was uncomfortable watching her.
Yeah, I will say I don't remember anything that she was singing at all because I was so focused on it wasn't even necessarily the messiness of the wig because she's like supposed to be like LinkedIn, like business, like hurrying, always busy, right?
I didn't get that.
It was the quality of the wig, like the look as a whole. Like she pulled that her little latex bag of tricks moment. That almost it wasn't business, but that kind of look would have enhanced the moment for me, I guess. I just really was not focused on her performance at all because of the wig specifically and the whole look, honestly. It was just not up to par with what and she's not a good singer. Like Olivia had a not up to par look, but she saved herself with her vocals.
For sure.
Candy couldn't do that. So there was just a lot not going right there.
Elliot was next, and Elliot had this weird moment of like a modern day Billie Eilish is what they were comparing it to. I think that the lights helped and also were like not helpful to the performance. So the lights helped because Elliot could miss words. It was hard to keep it, but also having to always flash that, like, it was weird. It was just a weird moment.
Yeah, I didn't
even judge it bad or good because it was so weird.
Yeah, I even asked Repro, I was like, what is she doing? Like what is she supposed to look like right now? You know what I mean? And I kind of knew, but it wasn't serving it the way it was just weird. It was not the moment for me.
But after Elliot, it was Rosé, and she just killed it. I think Rosé, like it was perfect for Rosé.
Girl. And I think honestly, if you're the type of drag queen Rosé is, you go into Drag Race waiting on the Rusical. You know, like hoping to God that you make it to that point. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And she had proved why it was just so fit for her.
And it worked out for her as opposed to
Denali in that role.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would not. Now looking back on it, I still would not have wanted to see Denali do that role.
After Rosé was Denali, though, and Denali and Gottmik, we can put them together because they were a Russian duo. They both did really great.
They did. Their choice of or not Denali's choice, but Gottmik. I would have been like Gottmik. That's the one I would have went for.
Same. I think that it was the most fun, most free, and those little parts are sometimes the biggest impact on the judges. When you're watching all of the contestants just in the challenge alone, who is like your one favorite and who is like the worst that you think?
I mean, I love the Russian bots. Denali and Gottmik did it for me. Rosé obviously did amazing. Like as far as talent goes, she had it in the bag. And then honestly, Tina.
Yeah. I felt very similar. Like I think that Tina and Rosé were my favorite, and then in the bottom, I really didn't like Candy and Simone.
Yeah, Simone did not sell it for me. I never want to see her in the bottom, so I'm not going to say that I thought she was going to be in the bottom. But she was not it for me today. And Candy, for me, Utica was in the bottom for me. Even though she did better than the rehearsal, it was not.
I agree. I had Utica in my bottom as well.
Yeah, it still wasn't up to par with like when you're looking at like a Rosé and a Tina and all that. Simone and Candy could fall. Well, not Candy really, but Simone could have fallen in the middle for me somewhere. Not good, but not bad.
Oh no, Simone was in a bottom for me because Candy wasn't good, but Candy knew she wasn't good, and she tried to sell it. And I feel like Simone tried to hide the fact that.
Right, I can see that.
Let's get into the runway, but first, RuPaul down the runway. It looks great.
Oh, always. She's all about legs these days, and I love that. The older she gets, the more skin and legs she shows.
Yeah. She's been stepping up her runways both in the UK seasons and the last maybe 1 or 2 seasons of US. I feel like completely. So we're gonna get to the runway, and they had the theme yellow, gorgeous. The idea was just a play on yellow. So we're gonna cheers and shady sip. Cheers and shady sip. Not shady sniff, girl.
Oh. Wrong show, sorry.
Wrong show. The first one down the runway is Tina Burner.
I'm gonna shady sip this.
Do you want to talk about it?
I just feel like it. This is also a shot, so it's hard to sip. But this was hard to take as well. The runway. It's like, girl, at what point? It's kind of like Tia Coffee on UK. It's like, girl, at what point are you gonna get the picture? This is tacky. It's tacky. It's yellow.
So because she went first, I liked it. The reason I liked it is because of all of the tacky outfits that she has worn. You're such a bitch, I saw you. All the outfits that she's worn, this bordered on like enough drag without it being over the borderline of like last week's Mardi Gras one. This was not the worst of the tacky outfits. It was more simplistic and branded, like the firefighter outfit at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Okay. If we're gonna give her that, I'll give her that.
So I liked it, but if she would have went later in the series, I probably would not have liked it.
Bury that because we're gonna get into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're gonna get into it. But it's a shady.
I'm gonna cheers it.
I'm not gonna do that.
Olivia is next. She's wearing an Eddie Couture gown. She looks great. I said that I like seeing Olivia's looks continue to be elevated. They're more mature and thought out.
And she's really proving herself to be a contender in this competition. I never thought that she wasn't, but I thought she could be middle of the road, right?
Oh, for sure.
She is not middle of the road for me. Like, that's kind of why I was scared when we get to the bottom two, because I was like, have I been wrong this whole time? Is she really, because we talked about how she could be up there with the girls. She could be up there with the girls. And I was like, is she about to fuck this whole thing up? So cheers. Yeah, cheers to her.
Next is Simone. I personally, for this look, liked the coat and the hair, but I didn't like it with the outfit. I liked the outfit underneath separate from what she had on, but I didn't like it altogether.
Yeah, I liked it, and I was like, I was coming up from the back hallway as she was walking down the runway and was like, is she wearing, I thought she was wearing her Tweety Bird look. If y'all follow her, it was still good to me. I can't not cheers it. I'm going to cheers it. It was still, I would wear it.
Cheers it because it fit, but I was not personally a fan of it altogether.
Right. It was not like the best of Simone, but I would still wear it. So it's a cheers.
I felt very similarly with Simone and Utica. Utica is next. That both of them I have high expectations for on the runway, and it was good, but it was not what I wanted to see from them.
Same.
And so Utica, I liked the story, but we got to get out of this idea of that the judges cannot get a story from you about why your outfit makes sense. They have to know why your outfit makes sense. Like, they have to know your outfit a little bit more.
Well, it's almost like, and speaking of comparing them, those two, Simone does a lot of references, right? And like, those are easy to catch. So I'd rather you go that route, like a super iconic reference, than this storyline. I want drag queens to think outside the box. There's a way to do weird art and like conceptual stuff without it going so far left.
So I cheers it.
I'm going to cheers it. It was still cute.
Next is Candy. And she did kind of a reference nod to Beyonce's Lemonade look, but then added like flower power in the hair with the sunflowers. I almost wish that she would have come out in like a rhinestone yellow bat.
I was just about to say that. I would have lost the flowers and did a bat. Or I would have added some sickening, because if you remember that video, she's standing in the doorway and the water rushes out. I would have added some sickening, like structured, you know, that plastic that like Trinity has done. Other people have done, like added the blue water around the bottom of the dress. Like it was coming out, like a structured plastic piece. Like she was walking on water.
That would have been next level. Yeah, it fit the theme. It was just it was simple. You replicated something that Beyonce pulled off. So how would you make this your look?
Yes. So, but I still love it.
I cheers it.
I'm gonna cheers it.
Next was Elliot, and I loved this because this is taking a tacky, campy theme of the taxi and elevating it to be very modern, well-fitting, and between the hair, everything just worked. I loved this look.
Yeah, this look from head to toe was great. I said this on the mic. Can you believe it or not? Elliot was one of my favorite looks on the runway.
It's a cheers for me.
It's a cheers for me, mama.
After Elliot, it was Rosé, and being like a really big Jim Carrey fan and also loving the mask, I loved the reference. I said that like I could have done with maybe without the painted green face and it was like a removable mask. I didn't care that much. I liked it a lot. Yeah,
well, and I had to think back on the movie The Mask. Like, did he have human skin color otherwise, or was he all green?
Yeah,
and he had human. It was just the mask. So I was a little shocked at that. Not shocked myself, but shocked for her on the runway because I was like, "Oh, girl, they're about to get you together." And I also didn't do it. I just feel like they haven't really focused on Rosé because there's so many other people that have been like just doing it a little extra mile over.
Next on the runway was Denali, and to me, it was two separate outfits. The arm piece in the bodysuit and the hair. I wish that she didn't have the snakes. I almost would have preferred if that wasn't the reference.
Yeah, as soon as she walked out, she said Python moment or whatever she said in her like voiceover.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, okay, because I saw this in the preview. Her look was, I think, the only one in the preview that popped up, and I was like, what is going on with this runway today? But when she said it, it made sense, but I agree. It just looks like separates.
Yep.
Separates typically don't work out on Drag Race.
No. I didn't, yeah, it wasn't enough for me. So I'm going to shady separate. Gottmik was next. They did a yellow bondagey take on a crash dummy or crash airbag kind of situation.
Which is like, girl, how we are having a lot of crossover.
I said of any other season, this is so much like-minded thinking.
And not their fault at all, because they brought what they brought. We have to make that note every time. When I saw it, I didn't say, "Oh, that's the same as Denali," but the idea itself was the same. So either way, it was cute. Miss Gottmik.
Cheers.
Cheers.
They decide who's in the tops, bottoms, and safe. The 6 remaining contestants on the stage are Tina Burner, Simone, Gottmik, Denali, Rosé, and Candy Muse. Everyone else is safe. When they're giving critiques, this is kind of where I was gooped and gagged because Tina, I felt bad for Tina.
I felt bad for Tina too.
It didn't make sense to me, and she really, I thought she was going to be in the top when that all happened. But she was obviously in the bottom. So Simone, Tina, and Candy were in the bottom. Gottmik, Rosé, and Denali were in the top.
That does not make sense.
That one makes sense for sure. Rosé won the challenge, and to me that makes sense. Between the runway and the challenge itself, it made sense to me.
Absolutely.
And with the bottom 3, Tina ends up being safe, and it's Simone and Candy. They have to.
I'm getting like hot.
I know it was a moment because you don't really know where that's going to go, regardless of how it turned out. But those are 2 fan favorites, contenders, top for the crown that everyone's talking about. It doesn't make sense in a lot of ways.
It did not make any sense to me. I honestly thought Utica would have been in the bottom.
Of that, they have to lip sync to Boss. Candy, in my opinion, won that lip sync.
Girl, this is why I'm like literally jumping in my seat. I'm like, it's so hard for me to say this. Candy beat Simone in that lip sync.
Without a doubt.
I don't want to say that. Y'all know this. Y'all viewers, y'all know this. I do not want to say that, but Candy beat her.
Yeah.
And so in my head, I was like, oh no. And honestly, it was in the first 30 seconds that Candy beat her. Yeah. I was like,
Simone had this persona on the stage that made it look like she could not figure out, like she was processing way too much about why she was there rather than focusing on like serving it.
It almost felt like not that she was giving up, but that she didn't feel like she was adequate enough to be there, which like as a friend of hers, like we all get in our heads.
And we've seen these people win lip syncs. When I saw Candy win a lip sync, I wasn't sure because it was a weird song, Call Me Maybe, but when Simone did it, she was fire. Like the lip sync that we saw Simone do was very different than that one. Same thing with La La Ree. That moment where you're like, why aren't you giving what I know you can give?
The moment. Yeah, the moment.
The moment. Wow.
Where's the moment? Where is this moment, honey?
They end up doing this thing where Simone wins, and I think everyone's kind of feeling the same way. Candy gets through. They've never done this. Candy gets through her thank you, the emotional trauma of everything, and literally before she walks off the stage, she is saved in a double save, which hasn't happened. I'm like, girl, you made her go through all of that.
And I'm telling you, I was standing up on my feet. I can't do it right now because I'll go out of frame. But I was standing up on my feet like, what the fuck is happening right now?
She did it. And everyone was goop. Everyone's really excited that Candy is saved. I do agree with the critique that I really need Candy to start putting herself into things and not putting out what we think, because I'm over it.
Yes, and stop trying to win Drag Race. Candy could win Drag Race.
It's just not trying to win Drag Race. Yep. But with that being said, 9 entertainers, 9 queens are still in the running. Nobody went home. And this is now the 3rd episode. No one went home. That's crazy.
After 3 episodes where no one went home.
Yeah, everyone else is going home. There's no more. Or 2 of you. That could be a thing. Double elimination. It's going to go right into All-Stars. Just wait. Just wait.
Oh, no, it is. And All-Stars is about to be the team.
Oh, get ready for that, everybody. Denver Diva Review All-Stars Edition. It's coming your way. I am excited. My top 4 have not changed for my ideas. I feel like this episode kind of blocked everything and just kind of kept it where it's at.
Right. It just solidified everything. You're like, okay.
But I'm excited for next week. Kelela, I love doing this with you, and this is so much fun. Comment below what you think of our opinions, your favorite looks, the ones you hate, subscribe, and what else do you want us to review? So TV, local stuff, food, I don't give a shit. Let's figure it out.
I love you, girl.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye.